If you really feel like that there is a passion in your heart for what you want to do, try your best to keep going. Because sometimes in life there will be challenges where you would feel or question yourself if you even want to continue doing what you're doing. But all it takes is sometimes is to just remind yourself why you've done all of this hard work. To set your goals higher and also to do everything you've done takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and you just need a couple minutes to reflect. And if you still want to keep pushing, just keep pushing, and eventually things will fall into place, things will start making sense, and your journey forward will become much clearer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Del Carmen Foundation Podcast. This is the 7th of many podcasts that will highlight those individuals, students, and organizations that are making a positive difference in the lives of many children and youth in Philadelphia and Venezuela. The Del Carmen Foundation is a non-profit organization whose mission is to help disadvantaged children and youth by providing access to education, sports, and other resources. I'm your host, Yamilet del Carmen, Executive Director of the Del Carmen Foundation. Today, we are proud to introduce Alfredo, a remarkable student of Mexican heritage. Last year, Alfredo participated in our essay contest and was one of the selected recipients of our financial aid program. Thanks to his hard work, perseverance, and academic excellence, Alfredo was accepted into Drexel University, one of the Philadelphia's most prestigious institutions. Even more inspiring, Alfredo is the first in his family to attend college, a milestone that fills us with pride and hope. In this episode, Alfredo opens up about his journey as the first-generation college student. Let's welcome him to our podcast.
That soar and swoop, joining voices push along within the cradle of.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm very excited to be joined by a brilliant young man who represents the future of our community. Last year, we did a fundraising event, and through that event, we were able to help financially to 6 students right here in Philadelphia. And one of them is here. His name is Alfredo. Alfredo, thank you so much for being here with us. And could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I feel very grateful for the opportunity that you've given me earlier last year for the scholarship. It really helped our family a lot with easing the financial burden of college, and I am happy to be here. It doesn't feel like I'm sacrificing much to be here and talk with you.
Thank you so much. And how was that impact? How was the impact for the financial Del Carmen Foundation gave you?
Well, it made me and my mom really relieved because one of the things was that we were very stressed in organizing the funds available to us and what we had to manage and what we had to spend. And with the aid being given to us, it was a huge relief from our shoulders, and we were able to focus on bigger things and not be as stressed as before.
Okay, and what year are you in university right now?
I'm in my first year.
First year. So how is that environment for you from high school to college?
It was a very big difference. I remember my first few classes, seeing the amount of people, the huge rooms, the different buildings that I had to go through, the variety of different people, and it was very different from my high school experience. And at first it felt very overwhelming to kind of figure out the whole system and to get used to the new way of managing my time organizing myself, getting ready to commute to and from school. So it was a very big change.
And how many classes are you taking, like, per year?
Well, each quarter I try to take like 4 or 5 classes, and um, typically it's around. I like to have them like around the middle of the day
Okay.
if they let me. But sometimes in this quarter I have some classes that go on a little bit late.
And what is your major?
Computer engineering.
Computer engineering. Okay. And the transition from high school to college, when you say was a little bit like different, how different it was?
Um, well, firstly, there was much fewer time in class than in high school, so a lot of my learning was done in my own time, in studying and looking over the lecture notes and doing the homework assignments, and there was less in class time to actually learn things. So it felt like I was teaching myself more than the classes were teaching me. So that was very different.
Wow. And where did you study in high school?
Northeast High School.
Northeast High School. Was a mix of students, or would you say that maybe more Hispanic, or was just a mix of all the ethnicities?
I would say that Northeast High School was pretty diverse. There were a lot of different people, a lot of different groups, and uh, I would like to say that Drexel is as diverse, but it might be because of the size or like the times I go, but it feels like a little bit less diverse than Northeast was.
Okay, wow. And your experience is your first year in college, and how do you feel being in college? Of course, it's a big difference, but how are the professors? Are they big difference between the high school to college? The way they teach?
Mm. Well, every professor has their own method, has their own teaching style, and I would say that the variety of teaching methods, or like the way that teachers approach education and teaching students, I would say it's as unique as high school. It all just depends on what teacher you get, and knowing how they teach, and using that to your advantage, learning their method, learning how they teach, getting to know the tricks to be good in their classes.
Okay, and what made you choose computer engineering?
Why did I choose?
Uh-huh.
Um, Ever since middle school, I had a pretty big fascination with technology the and the promise or the concepts of the future, and getting to learn more about the computer engineering program at Drexel University, I just felt that it was a good fit for me.
So you took your first maybe computer classes in high school.
Hmm.
Then maybe you were presented to you a project or something like that that you say, this is what I'm going to study, or
Well, it was more self research. It was more like googling, like what do like googling computer engineering, the schools near me, what they offer, and also the programs. Like Drexel has the co-op program, which would help me with networking and also finding future jobs.
okay. So you studied different universities and you chose Drexel University. One of the reasons was because of a co-op.
Hmm.
Okay, I think it's a great alternative, right? Because they will try to find you a job right after you graduate, like giving you that experience
Yeah,
before graduating, right?
yeah, and having at least any type of experience before graduating would be very beneficial to me in networking, and also in interviewing for these companies. And having that opportunity at Drexel was what made me choose there.
Okay. And did you take any classes of the computer, like related to engineer in high school?
There really weren't many classes that focused on the engineering side. The closest class I took was just regular coding and programming, and um, more or less what really fueled my desire for being an engineer was just my own research and seeing videos of what engineers do, what they stand for, what they hope to do for the future of humanity, and I just really liked that I could be a part of that.
Okay, and so far, do you like it?
I really love it,
Oh,
and
wow.
even with my general engineering classes, ones that aren't really focused with computer engineering, getting to learn the engineering process and doing all of these different kind of like projects or with groups and on your own, it I feel like it's made me a much more creative thinker in the way I approach problems, and yeah, those experiences have been really good for me.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about that project that maybe so far you like it at Drexel?
Um, for for my in my most recent quarter, uh, there there the whole class was essentially a big group project in designing something that was built on the principles of engineering while also being something biological. So the challenge was in figuring out a product that both met engineering standards but also taught people about a biological phenomena. So what my group ended up doing was a simulation of an electric eel using circuits and wires and lights. Uh, we we sort of imitated its organs and how it approaches prey and its use of high and low voltage. And it was a very ambitious project. And in the end, we still had one of our key parts not work in person because the parts we were given to did not work. But overall, in our final presentation, our professor still told us that we did a good job, and given that we only had 10 weeks to do this project.
Nice. So you have, I guess, work on a team,
Hmm.
right? How many people were in the group?
Five, but unfortunately, one of our teammates was very sick and was dealing with some family issues throughout. So we consistently had four people, but we still we still worked hard with even with the setback of not having our one extra teammate around for most of the time.
Nice. And is that every year? How many projects you do for the whole year?
Um, well, it depends on the classes, but so far I'd like to say I've done several projects. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Nice. So that's a good. And if you love what you're doing so far, imagine what is coming next, right?
Yeah.
More intense projects. So that's nice. So, being a Hispanic student, what challenges you face being at Drexel University, if any?
Well, one thing that I would like to give Drexel University its praise is that I don't really feel like I am a stranger. Like I don't feel that just because I'm Hispanic, that it doesn't mean that I belong there. Because I see the people around me, the different ethnic groups, and even the international students, and seeing like everybody work together, like be nice to each other, people making friendships and everything. I feel like Drexel is a very open and welcoming place for anybody.
That's nice. And I think the whole Philadelphia area is the same when I came from Venezuela to here to Philadelphia. And I visited different cities, right? And I think Philadelphia is a welcome city. And I agree with you in like in Drexel. And I went to a different college and university. But I think being a Hispanic, I feel welcome. And that's why education, my universities and college were my second home. I didn't feel different or segregated, only included and supported. So that's very nice to hear that from you that you know you have the support there and continue to grow. And the diversity, right? Diversity in there is huge.
Hmm.
That's very good. And how do you feel being the first going into the college from your family? You are the first, right? The
Hmm.
first generation going to college. So, how do you feel about it? And is there any challenge that you face with that?
Oh well, it feels like a big honor being one of the first in my family's generation to be going to college. And one of the big things is one of the big challenges with that is trying to tell my mom how college is different, the differences in from college to high school, because even I have difficulties in understanding myself. So trying to tell my mom like all these different things, like the new rules or how these different classes work, and how sometimes even though I might seem available, like I need to be doing something else. It's it's been it's been a eye-opening experience, but still, me and my mom still try to understand the best that we can each other's different views, and I feel like we've done a good job at communicating.
Right. Yeah. And as long as you have the communication, they decided to grow and continue, I think it will be very successful for you.
Thank you.
Yes. And what do you do for fun? Like what extracurricular activities do you do for fun?
Well, recently I've been trying the local or the Drexel Chess Club, and
Oh, nice.
it's something that I haven't played since middle school. So that was a it was very nice playing it again. And but most of the time, what I do for fun is after my engineering class with my group project, we would spend like an hour or two just like walking, talking, like having our own free time, like say what we really want to say without the without the pressure of having to be productive in class. And it's really been a really good experience in establishing new bonds, and I feel really close with my project group, even if we finished the class and we've already presented and we've already done the whole thing. We're still close and we still talk to this day.
Nice, nice. I love those kind of games because make you think, right? And for me, I forget about everything else. It's just concentrated on the game. And when, like, for example, when I used to study a lot, when I played like Chinese checker, the machinas. So I forget about everything around me, and I just was like 1 or 2 hours just concentrated on that. And I love it because it took time away from my studies. So I was just playing that game. And it's a strategy games, right? Those games are important too. And I love that.
Yeah, I feel like having time to yourself or like with your friends to play those types of games, it's also like really good for your brain, because like even if you're like quote unquote relaxing or like unwinding from studying, you're still putting your brain through a different form of exercise, a different form of challenge.
Right, right. I love those kind of games. I really do. And it helps, right? It
Hmm.
helps mentally, it really does. And any message that you would like to give to a student that maybe is in high school to continue their education or pursue their dreams? Any message that you would like to tell them?
Well, depending on the situation given, and with how everything is today, if you really feel like that there is a passion in your heart for what you want to do, or a need, or like that you would feel fulfilled to continue pushing that dream, I'd say with the best of your ability, try your best to keep going, because sometimes in life there will be challenges where you would feel or question yourself if you even want to continue doing what you're doing. But all it takes is sometimes is to just remind yourself why you've why you've done all of this hard work to set your goals higher, and also to do everything you've done takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and you just need a couple minutes to reflect. And if you still want to keep pushing, just keep pushing, and eventually things will fall into place, things will start making sense, and your journey forward will become much clearer.
That's very nice and very impressive. And thank you so much for being with us today and share a little bit about your story. And to our viewers, remember that we all have a role to play in creating opportunities for the next generation. Stay tuned for the next episode of Del Carmen Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Hispanico Group, experts in web design and marketing. Elevate your brand with them today. Pulaski Dental, where your oral health is their top priority. Trust them to help you achieve a healthy and radiant smile. Lasso World, fashion hair accessories designed for all hair types. Beautiful, stylish, and made to last, because you deserve the best. inSeption Group is pioneering a new era in clinical research with strong focus on people, purpose, and performance. Firstrust Bank, where personalized service and financial expertise come together to support your aspirations. Podversandocontigo, more than a podcast, where losses become stories that help us heal. Community, where events, creators, venues, and providers collaborate.